My name is Maya. I'm 35 years old and I'm a married woman. My husband's name is Daniel. He's 40. We've been together as husband and wife for a decade now. We have a little boy. His name is Oliver. He just turned 7. Once upon a time, we were inseparable. We were truly happy. But now, everything feels different. For the past 3 to 4 months, my husband has become a different person. He returns from the office, has his meal, stares at the television screen, and then goes straight to sleep. During the weekends, he attends work meetings, plays golf with colleagues, or locks himself in his study room. He tells me he's swamped with work. He manages an entire team at his company. Many people depend on him. I used to assist him, organizing papers, handling finances. But now I'm home taking care of our child. He refuses help from anyone these days. He claims he can't rely on others anymore. We used to have little rituals. Every single night, we'd sit together and drink Turkish tea. We'd share stories about our day. We'd laugh until our stomachs hurt. We'd gaze into each other's eyes with so much warmth. Now, there's only silence. No tea ceremonies, no heartfelt conversations. Just the glow of the TV screen. Just the sound of him snoring. Last week, I sent Oliver to stay with my mother. I desperately wanted alone time with my husband. I thought perhaps he simply needed to rest. Perhaps he needed space to breathe. But that evening, he walked in, finished his dinner, and collapsed into bed. He didn't say a single word to me. The following morning, he was gone before sunrise. It was Saturday, yet he couldn't stay home. I sat in our empty kitchen by myself. My tea had gone ice cold. My heart felt frozen too. I felt like an outsider in the place I called home. That very night, I made a powerful decision. I had to confront him. I couldn't continue living this way. That evening, I stayed awake waiting for him. I prepared his absolute favorite meal. I slipped into the blue dress he once told me made me look beautiful. I applied soft makeup and styled my hair carefully. He arrived home much later than usual. His face looked exhausted. He sat down, ate without speaking, and didn't even glance at my dress. My heartbeat quickened. Anxiety washed over me. But I needed to speak up. I needed answers. I looked directly at him and said gently, "Can we please talk?" He seemed caught off guard. "Right now?" he responded. "Yes," I replied firmly. "Please." We settled onto the sofa. I fought to remain composed. I didn't want an argument. I didn't want tears streaming down my face. But my eyes were already welling up. I began, "You've become someone else. We barely communicate anymore. You don't look at me with joy. You act like I'm invisible." He stared at the floor. Complete silence. I gave him time, then I asked the question that terrified me most. "Do you still have feelings for me?" He finally met my eyes. Those eyes looked so weary. Then he spoke. "Of course I do. I'm simply exhausted. My job is overwhelming. I'm drowning in stress." I nodded slowly, but doubt filled my mind. So I asked the question I'd been avoiding for weeks. "Is there another woman?" His expression showed shock. "Absolutely not," he answered immediately. "I'm just buried under work. My mind never stops racing. But I love you, Maya. Please just give me more time." I studied his face carefully. He appeared sincere. He reached for my hand. "Please be patient a bit longer. I promise I'll do better." I wanted so badly to trust him, so I whispered, "All right, I'll give you time." But somewhere deep inside, loneliness still consumed me. Days turned into weeks, yet nothing improved. He continued coming home after dark. He still ate without conversation. He still seemed distant and emotionally unavailable. I pushed myself to smile. I reminded myself to be understanding. I kept thinking, he said he loves me. He promised he'd try harder. I kept the house spotless. I played games with Oliver. I even suggested a romantic weekend getaway, just the two of us. But when I brought it up, he said dismissively, "Not right now. I've got important meetings scheduled. Maybe sometime next month." That night, darkness surrounded me as I sat alone. The house felt hollow. I whispered into the emptiness. Why does loving someone feel so incredibly lonely? I went through our old photographs, images from our wedding day, snapshots from our honeymoon, pictures filled with genuine smiles, warm embraces, and pure joy. Where did those moments disappear to? One night, I asked my mother to watch Oliver again. I waited anxiously for Daniel, hoping tonight we'd finally connect. But the moment he stepped inside, he headed straight to his study. No greeting, no affectionate look, just a door that shut softly, separating us. I stood right outside that closed door. I lifted my hand to knock gently, but something stopped me. My arm dropped back down. I turned away and walked back through the empty hallway. In the kitchen, I sat completely alone, holding a cup of tea that had lost all its warmth. I truly felt like a ghost in my own home. Then a painful realization hit me. Maybe he doesn't notice me anymore. Maybe he's forgotten the woman he married. And for the first time ever, I asked myself, is this actually a marriage? Or are we just two strangers sharing the same address? Morning came. I opened my eyes and saw the empty space beside me. He'd already rushed off to work. No kiss goodbye, no tender words. I stared up at the bedroom ceiling for what felt like forever. My heart ached with exhaustion, not burning anger, not loud frustration, just complete, overwhelming tiredness. I made breakfast for Oliver. I played with him and smiled as if our world wasn't crumbling. But inside, I felt completely invisible. That same evening, I made another attempt. I positioned myself near the front door. When he entered, I smiled hopefully. "Would you like to take a short walk with me?" I asked softly. He glanced at me with tired, emotionless eyes. "Not tonight, Maya. Perhaps another time." I nodded in acceptance, but something inside me shattered. Later that night, while he worked behind his locked office door, I quietly packed a small overnight bag for Oliver and myself. And then I sat down and wrote him a letter. "I still love you, Daniel. I still believe in what we could be, but I can't be the only person fighting for us anymore. I miss your heart, the real you, more than I miss simply having you nearby. You asked me to wait patiently. I did exactly that. I waited with unconditional love, endless patience, and countless tears. Now, I need to rediscover who I am. I'm not abandoning you forever, but I refuse to remain invisible any longer." I placed the letter on our kitchen table. Tears blurred my vision. I gently closed the door behind me. I took Oliver's small hand in mine. Together, we stepped into the quiet darkness of the night, not running away from love itself, but walking toward healing and self-respect. We stayed at my mother's home. 7 days passed. Then my husband sent me a text message. He wrote that he missed having me around. He missed our son terribly. He wanted us to return home. He claimed he was finally ready to make real changes. So against my better judgment, I went back. One peaceful evening, after tucking Oliver into bed, I walked into our living room. Daniel had left his phone resting on the coffee table before heading to the bathroom for a shower. I genuinely wasn't planning to snoop. I really, truly wasn't. But suddenly, the screen illuminated on its own. My entire body began trembling. A message from an unknown woman appeared. It read, "I miss you so much. Did you spend any time thinking about me today?" Time seemed to freeze. I didn't open the full conversation. I didn't have to. Hot tears filled my eyes immediately. Was this the real reason behind his transformation? He walked back into the room moments later, smiling casually as if our world wasn't collapsing. I stared at him. How could the person I'd loved so deeply make me feel so worthless? I wanted to scream at the top of my lungs. I wanted to sob uncontrollably. But I remained silent, paralyzed by the fear of hearing the truth, terrified that asking the question would make this nightmare undeniably real. That night, I lay beside him in our bed. He slept peacefully, unbothered. I cried as silently as possible, my heart shattering into countless tiny fragments. I had given this man absolutely everything. My unconditional love, my precious time, my youthful years, my entire existence. And now he was sharing his heart and attention with someone else entirely. The next morning arrived, but I didn't shed tears. I didn't raise my voice. I simply sat motionless at the kitchen table. He entered the room, glanced at me briefly, and said casually, "Good morning." I offered no response. He didn't even seem to notice. He grabbed his briefcase and left for the office. Throughout the entire day, an unbearable weight pressed against my chest. I watched Oliver play with his toys. I forced smiles for his sake, but internally I was completely shattered. That evening, I made my final choice. Not because I wanted to destroy what we'd built, but because I desperately needed to rescue myself. I waited until he returned from work. I calmly asked him to sit down across from me. My voice remained steady. "I saw a message on your phone," I stated plainly. He stared at me without speaking. His silence said everything. I continued speaking. "I gave you 10 precious years of my life. I place complete trust in you. Part of me still wants to believe in you, but I simply can't live like this anymore." He didn't even attempt to deny what I'd discovered. He only whispered, "I'm sorry. Hurting you was never my intention." And in that precise moment, I knew with absolute certainty everything was real. The emotional distance between us, the deafening silence, the unbearable pain. I rose from my chair. "I need time away," I said clearly. "Time to think clearly. Time to breathe freely. Time to remember who I used to be." That very night, I packed essentials for Oliver and myself, and we went to stay with my mother once again. Leaving hurt more than anything I'd ever experienced before. But sometimes love alone isn't sufficient. Sometimes the bravest thing you can possibly do is choose your own well-being. I chose inner peace over constant pain. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, please like the video and share it with someone who needs hope. Subscribe to English Reflections for more simple stories and daily motivation. Until next time, keep learning, keep believing, and keep moving forward. Your best days are coming. Stay blessed.